Ian Wright slams controversial referee decisions in Arsenal vs PSG and leaves fans furious. Plus, Ousmane Dembele's situation revealed ahead of the Champions League showdown. Another big day for Arsenal, and if you carry this club in your heart like we do, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because every victory, every signing, every heartbreak, we live it all together. Let's jump into today's news. Arsenal hero Ian Wright has claimed that PSG had the number of referee Slavko Vincic during the Gunners' defeat to the French Giants on Tuesday evening. It came following a frustrating evening for the North London outfit, who made a slow start at the Emirates Stadium. A momentary lapse of judgment saw Ousmane Dembele strike just 4 minutes into the tie, giving his side the lead. While Arsenal put the pressure on, both teams missed big chances to keep the tie within a 1-goal swing. It means that Arsenal trail PSG 1-0, but there is another huge match in the reverse fixture at the Parc des Princes, which is set to create the Champions League final matchup. Coming away from the match was plenty of frustration, not least with referee Slavko Vincic during the general play. What Ian Wright thought about referee Slavko Vincic in Arsenal vs PSG. Arsenal fans were frustrated by the refereeing in their clash with PSG for several different reasons in the match. The most prominent point, however, appeared to be the soft decisions being given that made the game a stop-start encounter. While no huge errors were made by Vincic, it did make a difficult evening for the Gunners just that bit tougher. Ian Wright made mention of it when speaking on Wrighty's House, claiming, "I don't want to blame referee, don't want to get involved, but I just thought that they saw PSG had the referee's number a bit with the way they were committing fouls and going down when we committed fouls. A real experienced job on us. It shows the level of frustration at the referee's calls, but also the importance for Arsenal to focus on their own performance. The Gunners weren't at the levels they would have wanted to be at, with it being an important moment in the club's history. The task at hand is now clear, though there must be a turnaround at the Parc des Princes in the following week to make the Champions League final." What Mikel Arteta said about the referee after Arsenal vs PSG. Mikel Arteta hasn't been shy regarding his opinion of some refereeing in the past, but the Arsenal boss was slightly more subdued after defeat to PSG. When asked about decisions against Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, he simply told the press, "It was so clear, I don't think I have to give my thoughts. Thank you." He was just as coy when asked if the referee stopped the game too much, adding, "No, there's no complaint. I mean, they are here to try to do their work in the best possible way, and they certainly try it. Sometimes we can have different opinions about certain situations, and that's the case." It certainly suggests that Arteta didn't agree with the decisions made against Arsenal, but keen not to focus on it too much. Ousmane Dembele's situation revealed ahead of the Champions League showdown. Paris Saint-Germain superstar Ousmane Dembele punished Arsenal in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final by scoring the winner against them in the 4th minute. The PSG forward's left-footed finish was a thing of beauty, as David Raya had no chance of stopping the ball from nestling into the back of the net. However, Arsenal fans would have been relieved when the Frenchman had to be taken off due to suffering an injury late into the game, considering he is Luis Enrique's ultimate danger man. Ahead of Arsenal's trip to the Parc des Princes in the second leg of the Champions League semi-final, an update about Dembele's injury has come to light. Without Ousmane Dembele, PSG will certainly be the underdogs going into their upcoming clash against Arsenal. Journalist Fabrice Hawkins has now provided an update around Dembele's injury ahead of PSG and Arsenal's much-awaited fixture, as only time will tell whether he will be fit to start. Hawkins revealed, "Ousmane Dembele has a hamstring injury. The development of the pain will need to be monitored in the coming days." How Mikel Arteta should react to Ousmane Dembele's injury. Mikel Arteta could be relieved about the prospect of Dembele missing the second leg against Arsenal, as he has the ability to put the tie beyond his side for PSG. While questions might be asked about whether Arteta should favor a more attacking lineup in Paris, he should stick to his winning formula. A potential front three of Kavicha Kvaratskhelia, Desire Doué, and Bradley Barcola remains deadly and could hurt Arsenal if they throw caution to the wind in the second leg. Arsenal fans say their own £30 million player was an absolute disgrace versus PSG in 1-0 Champions League defeat. Arsenal suffered a 1-0 loss in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final against Paris Saint-Germain, as Ousmane Dembele's opening goal was the difference between both sides. In the first 15 to 20 minutes of the contest, Mikel Arteta and co seemed shell-shocked as Luis Enrique's side were dominating proceedings. But from then onwards, Arsenal started to gain ascendancy, and on the basis of their spirited performance, the hosts were perhaps unfortunate to be on the losing side against PSG. However, some Gunners players were far from their best on Tuesday night. One of them was Martin Odigard, who has been the subject of criticism from Arsenal fans after his disappointing display against PSG. One Arsenal fan tore into Odegaard's showing against PSG by writing, "Arteta needs to start exploring playing Ethan Nwaneri over Odegaard. I've had enough." A second Arsenal fan was displeased with Martin Odegaard as they felt that it was Bukayo Saka who was truly giving it all instead of him against PSG. Saka is dropping deep, carrying, drifting, creating, and shooting, and Odigard is just there. A third supporter questioned the Norwegian's status as the Gunners' skipper, as he disparagingly wrote, "Martin Odigard is a disgrace of a captain." It's safe to say that the 26-year-old has plenty of making up to do, as the Emirates faithful are clearly unhappy with him. Martin Odegaard's stats for Arsenal versus PSG in Champions League semi-final. Odegaard was expected to step up against PSG by Arsenal fans, as he is one of their best players. But it is impossible to deny that the Norwegian captain's latest display was a complete no-show. The stats back up Arsenal fans' frustrations about Odegaard's showing against PSG as well. Odegaard created just a chance against the French Giants while having touched the ball only once in the opposition box as well. The £30 million man was dispossessed once in the process as well, while completing just 2 out of his 6 dribbles, losing 6 out of his 8 duels as well. Odegaard had a night to forget, and he must step up his game in the second leg. Alan Smith thinks Victor Guio could join Arsenal. Smith spoke about which striker Arsenal could sign this summer. The pundit believes Alexander Isak is an unrealistic target, but he does think Gyökeres could head to the Emirates due to how poor Manchester United have been recently. There's been a lot of talk about Alexander Isak, but would Newcastle sell him to a Premier League rival? I can't see that happening, Smith said. Gyökeres, the lad at Sporting, he continues to knock the goals in. I know it's the Portuguese league, he's of a good age. Technically, he would be good enough for Arsenal, that would be one. When Ruben Amorim went to United, I thought Gyökeres would go to United. But now with United not being in the Champions League, that could change things. Victor Gyökeres compared to Alexander Isak. Great Swedish strikers often seem to come 2 at a time. Indeed, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Henrik Larsson were international teammates for a time in the early 2000s. And now both Gyökeres and Isak are shining on Europe's biggest stages. Arsenal are keen on both strikers, and there is an interesting debate to be had about which player the Gunners should sign. The stats here tell an interesting story. Gyökeres has been scoring more than Isak this season, but the Portuguese league is a different beast to the Premier League. Isak is proven in the English top flight, and that is invaluable. However, with Isak being valued at £120 million and Gyökeres being available for £67 million, there may be more value to be had in signing the Sporting star. And that wraps up today's biggest Arsenal news. If you enjoyed the update and want to stay on top of everything happening with the Gunners, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Come on, Arsenal!